We're back. That's right. No public works video. That'll be tomorrow. I feel like I had to get this video done because I don't want to forget a lot of stuff that happened. And let's just get to it. First things first, we're going to talk about this Mirror Indy article. So I have morning notifications, morning emails from Mirror Indy, Axios, I think State Affairs when they do have one, and Indiana Capital Chronicle. And I will scroll through these articles and just be like, what the hell are you talking about? And this one certainly takes the cake. When I read, without a driver's license, Indy mom relies on Ubers for work. I was like, all right, well, how did you get here? Because I got a feeling that something happened for you to be in that situation. For Lakeisha Hardiman, it would mean everything to be able to drive again. Well, what the hell happened? She lost her driving privileges some years ago after being unable to pay fines and court fees for a speeding ticket. Really? Really? Are you sure about that? So I will go to inmate info or my case to find out people's criminal record. And sometimes you gotta be a little bit careful because my case. Here, let's just do this in real time. Let's do this in real time. All right, real time here. So I typed in Mario Gonzalez. All right, we went to my case and we went to inmateinfo.indy.gov/IML. This is the inmate info. And you always want to include released inmates. Hit search, and there you go. You got a couple of Mario Gonzalez. I'm sure that will be used as an attack ad later this year. Um, but if you see here, you got a couple of different birth dates, and you just got to sort through them. Especially when you have like a very common name. I don't know, pick your poison. But same thing with here, Mario Gonzalez. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is that when you're looking up, hey, everybody, because I know people have done it to me before, thinking that I am somebody that I'm not, and they have they were completely wrong, which is hilarious, by the way. You have to be careful on who you're actually looking up. That's my point. So, or is this it? Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a second. We'll talk about this. There we go. Oh, let me get myself out of the way. Whoop. All right, so they said that she was a 35-year-old, and those who can do some basic math will figure out it was born in 1988. So you look up Lakeisha R. Hardiman, and you just look it up. Okay, so what happened back in 2020? Operating a vehicle while intoxicated, carrying a handgun without a license. Oh boy, and look at all these other ones. These, by the way, these are all the ones that she was arrested for. So, and you have a much more detailed. I use my case and inmate info at the same time to just kind of figure it all out. But my point is, this lady has been in trouble quite a few times. I'm just saying, it wasn't just like, oh, poor me. Oh, the justice system screwed me over. No, lady, you actually put yourself in this situation. But Mirror Indy is very much of an activist newspaper. Absolute joke. They're actually a combination of a bunch of different news organizations. They were from what, Free Press Indiana, and Free Press Indiana is like 20 different news organizations that put their money together so they can get this activist newspaper out there and say, "Oh, look at this poor black single mom. She just got the short end of the stick. What are we ever gonna do? Oh, I don't know. Maybe not drive drunk with a gun you're not supposed to have. Just saying." And this is a perfect example with like Ryan Mears and the carrying a gun without a license. Almost guaranteed. If I went and looked this lady up, probably dismissed. But I'm also not sure if this was when Terry Curry was still alive. Either way, don't believe everything is what I'm saying. Do some investigation yourself. Do your own research. Don't believe these activist clowns that are pretending to be journalists because they don't want to tell the whole story. They just want to tell the sob story. But that we all know anybody with a higher 75 IQ is going to get that. All right, next one though. This one's kind of my favorite. Indiana's drivers test and high failure rates draw criticism. Whoopsie. Okay, first off, this lady is just barely peeking over the steering wheel. Oh, gee, I wonder why so many people are failing the test. Oh, they can't see the fucking road, maybe? There's a shocker. Listen, all right, I can't say it. I can't say it. I was gonna say you got to get the baby seat up, but this lady is very close to the steering wheel. If she gets in a front end accident, her head is just going zoop, zoop, right off her shoulders. Anyway, Indiana has the highest failure rates for its driver's license test in the U.S., with more than 1.3 million Hoosiers failing the test from 2020 to 2023, USA reports. Cool. Hey, that's great, in my opinion, because we keep seeing all these clowns, people like Jesse Brownstein, the communist who smells like onions, the Christian Satanist supporter. We hear him and trust fund Andy Nielsen and millionaire John Barth talk about, oh, the car problem. Some of these people, oh, we need to worry about the infrastructure and the bicyclist. Okay, so why don't we raise the standard for getting a license then? What's the problem with that? This is what makes it so funny. Everybody gets the idea, oh, well, we'll just go in here and take the test. Everyone who does that, most of them do not pass. I don't care, honestly. To be honest, too, I have no problem making it a little bit harder. They must pass the written knowledge test to apply. And guess what? There is a book that you can study. It is on the BMV website. There's a PDF document. And here we go. Republican Becky Cash, by the way, makes a fantastic chili from what I've heard. Zionsville. They talk about it all the time. I'll talk to my people my own age, and they'll say, oh my gosh, I just moved here from Massachusetts, and I nearly failed the Indiana test when I moved here. Or I failed it the first time, and I've been driving 25 years. Well, obviously, you're not up to date. And then she also said they may face additional barriers to take the written test. For instance, her daughter, who has a learning disability, struggled to take the test on a BMV's computer. She failed it twice on a computer before being offered a paper copy, which she passed the first time. It's the same test. I don't understand that part. Sounds like an excuse for me, to me. Third time's a charm, right? Can we just agree with that? I think it's bad data. Why can't anybody ask for a paper copy from the first time they take the test? Well, why didn't she? Hey, you're a state rep. You should kind of know these things, right? She should have went to you after the very first time of failing, like, Ma, can I get a paper test? I don't know if that's what it is, all right? I don't know if that's what she really sounds like, but it does sound funny. Why do they have to fail it on a computer twice if they know they have a learning disability? Well, whoever told them that they had a learning disability, and by the way, maybe people with a learning disability shouldn't be on the road. I'm just saying. If they don't know what a sign is and they go, oh, I don't know what that is. Is that a roundabout? Is that construction? Is it a yield? This learning disability that I have. Oh, yeah, it's not so good. And let's see. They're talking about I'll put the links on the bottom. It's just horseshit. But anyway, so I took it. I decided you can take the test on here. There's the practice knowledge examination. The pages there's 8 pages. There's 30 questions. It's 80% required to pass it, which means I think you can't fail any more than 6. I think that's what it was. But anyway, I passed it. I got 2 wrong. And that was just the very first time of taking it. I haven't taken a driving test since what? I don't know, 2012 or something. The written test anyway. Because I think if you move from a state to a state, all you have to do is take the written test. You don't have to take the driving test as long as you have an out-of-state driver's license, if I remember right. I don't know if they've changed it. Indiana is one of the most car-dependent states in the country, with 91.2% of residents relying on a car to commute to work. Hey, with a car, I can go anywhere. Except the ocean. For now. Elon, get on that. But anyway, very interesting. They found the collision rates were highest among Indiana drivers, 15 to 20. compared to other age groups, which attributes to a race to a lack of experience and increased novelty-seeking and risk-taking behaviors among young drivers. What they are saying is that young people are dumb. They will drive fast, and you see these street takeovers that are happening in Indianapolis right now, and people are getting killed. Well, that's on you. I hate to break it to you. That's on you. Just because you pass the test doesn't mean you can drive a vehicle. Well said. I think this Kloss guy totally based. What is it? Longtime instructor also knows of people taking the written test several times to pass. However, he believes a blind monkey can pass the test. Yes. Based? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Hello, base department? Yeah. If you want my opinion, I think they should make it stricter. Yes, thank you. I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's just like anything else in the education system. They've watered it down a little bit. That's the problem. Oh, we got all these problems with crashes and speeding and etc. But you don't want to make the test harder. And then you're bitching at the same time that people can't pass the test. It's like, well, what do you want? What do you want? It's just that simple. But anyway, just two articles that I saw this week, and I wanted to bring it up to remind all of you that the media is the enemy. They're just bitching to bitch, and they need something to talk about. Now, if there was a proper person on this, they would have probably, was this an opinion article, or is this just a data thing? Just government and politics. I mean, they could have picked a better picture for sure. She looks lost. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. So, what I wanted to talk about, like I brought up yesterday, I wanted to talk about the convention because I was there. Very interesting. I did not win state delegate, which means I was not able to vote for Micah Beckwith or Julie McGuire. Now, personally, if I would have won, it would have been so much fun for me because then I would have had them calling me up and saying, "Hey, you should vote for me." And I would say, "Well, how are you gonna help me win my state rep race?" That's all I want to know. If I vote for you, how committed are you to me? Because I got beef with Micah. True story. I'm happy that he won, but I do have beef with him, and that beef is really not going to end for a long time. And here's why. When he announced that he was running for lieutenant governor last year, I was like, this is awesome. I think this should be a competitive race. Main reason is because Suzanne Crouch sucks. She did nothing during 2020 when Holcomb was raping everybody in Indiana with all of these shutdowns, all of these lockdowns. And remember, he wanted to have a law where you would get a misdemeanor or fined if you didn't have a mask. And they were starting to push for vaccine mandates. Now, Micah Beckwith, him being a pastor, he was able to give religious exemptions for these people that their work required them to have the vaccine, which is what got him motivated to run for lieutenant governor, especially now that it was the governor's race. So last year he did it. He worked his ass off for the last year, and he ended up winning. Now, when he first announced, I was very team Micah because of all the above. Well, when he had a list that was coming out, and it was going to have the people that he was like, "Hey, you want me in office? You vote for this guy." And it was just, I think it was by county. No, it was by district. It was by something. I think it was Marion County. Yeah, it was Marion County, and it was by whatever township. I don't know what it was. It was by certain areas. But anyway, not that it matters. But my name wasn't on there. And I was like, what the hell is this? I was Team Micah from the beginning. I was helping recruit precinct committeemen and state delegates, which, by the way, I did recruit a couple of them. I'm going to tell you who they voted for either. Yeah, that one's on you. Go figure it out. I did recruit a couple of them. And then when my name was not on the list, I threw a fit. Because I'm like, dude, I was helping you since day one. Not only that, but I was also running for state rep. I am still running for state rep. and you're not going to have my name on there? What the shit? So I threw a fit. Word got around, and my name ended up getting on there. Well, I was like, all right, cool. So, I stopped talking trash about the whole thing. And then a couple of days before the primary, I think it was the weekend before the primary, I went on there and my name was gone. And I was like, fuck this guy. Literally, legitimately. If you're asking for my loyalty, I'm asking for it back. That's how I roll, man. That is one of my rules for life. If you if you want my help, I want your help down the line. It's not like, hey man, I did this for you, now you got to do this for me. It's more like, hey, if you win this position, kind of help me get across the finish line too, so we can do this together, so we can fix Indiana together. Obviously, I'm on your side. Otherwise, I wouldn't be trying to help you. We share a lot of the same values, especially for freedom. But yet, you're not gonna put me on the list. What the shit is that? Well, I ended up getting 300 votes anyway, but you had 28 people that were on the primary, and they were only allowed 5 people. So the top 5 people got on there, and obviously, if any of you have voted, and if you're watching this video, you have voted before, you will see there's like, oh, state delegate when you're running in the Republican primary, if and because it's Republicans. So you have like 3 pages of people, and I was on the very last page along with a couple other people. I don't even know how I got 300 votes, to be honest with you. Totally random, but W for me. I got more votes than people that are on the first page. I was kind of wild, but everybody that won was either like a B or a C for their last name, and it went in alphabetical order. That's that's a very important thing to note too. So me being W Whitmer, last page, people aren't seeing you, and nobody really pays attention to politics anyway. So they're just like, okay, let's get this done. Because a lot of voters are stupid and they just don't pay attention. They're just lazy and they don't want to know what's going on, which is crazy to me now thinking about it. Because listen, you don't care about the things that are going to affect you every single day for the rest of your life, and you're just like, nope, I don't get involved with that. Sorry. It's like, okay, then don't bitch. Which, by the way, I was that way for a long time. I did not vote until 2020. And I never talked about politics. I never got into it. I never bitched about any of that stuff. I just accepted it for what it was because I'm literally just one guy. And then when you start getting into it, you realize that your voice really does matter. And not only that, but trying to get with people where you share the same values, which is how I am where I am now, with a lot of great people too. So leading up to that, me not being a delegate, I was like, well, I still want to help. And there were really 2 people that were in it. It was the attorney general and it was the lieutenant governor. So I ended up helping out Rokita. He didn't have anybody to run against. So, I mean, he was automatically going to get the nominee, but still, I had never been to a state convention. I wanted to check it out. I thought it was going to be pretty cool. And it was. So I ended up getting there. I was supposed to go to a Hawthorne cleanup thing, and it started at 7:30. I thought the convention, like the section I was supposed to deal with, didn't start until like noon. And it turns out it was at 7:30 as well. So obviously, I went there the day before, helped out, grabbed my pass and everything, met Rokita. I was had something going on that night, so I couldn't do the pre-party, which I heard was awesome. There were like 600 people in his Rokitas having stogies, there were fireworks. Like where his thing was right on. It was in the Skyway for the hotel and the convention center. What is it? The one with the train in it? I forgot what it's called. But Lucas Oil was right in front of you, and because the swim stuff was going on, they blew off all these fireworks right in front of you. That was the story that I got, and I was just like, well, I was doing other things, and they were just as fun. So, and people that I had recruited were coming into town, so I was talking to them about what was going on, and I gave them the data. They knew that what kind of beef I had with Beckwith, and they were going to vote for Julie. They were right on the edge of voting for Julie, and then, you know what? I'm not even know if they voted for Julie or Micah. You guys can figure that one out. So then the 7:30 came along, and I was helping out the Rokita table. They had these little boxing gloves because I didn't know that Rokita had this running bit where like I'm fighting for you kind of deal, and it's pretty funny, honestly. Everybody loved it. I think there were like 1,200 boxing gloves, 12 or 6. Yeah, I think it was 1,200 boxing gloves, and we ran out, and only like a quarter of them had his name stamped on there, and the rest of them were just regular boxing gloves. So, um, I'm not going to say any names of who was helping, but the person that was organizing the table ended up giving some to Rob Kendall, and then Rob Kendall apparently ended up getting them stolen in the bathroom. I think he went into the wrong stall and they took them. I'm just kidding. Rob talked about it on the radio. Okay, he put them somewhere. He used the stall. When he came back, they were missing. Everybody was putting them on their lanyard. I'm sure Rokita will give him a new set. No big deal. So I'm there, and I have no idea if I'm even going to go into the convention because no one was really giving me information. I was just purely there to help and really enjoy the whole thing. So I ended up going inside as like a guest, which is cool. In like the very back section, um, I was sitting there, and then the very front section, I think there were tables for the delegates, and then in the middle section was standing room only. And if that was like if you were on a campaign or whatever. So, um, it was like the first part was a little bit boring because Anne Hathaway was speaking. I think Carrasco was on there. Todd Huston, maybe? I think he was on there too. I can't remember. Not that it matters. It was pretty boring the first part. And then Rokita he was there to speak. He had a video which was actually really cool. His video was pretty badass. And then he's out there with boxing gloves. Oh man, it was so damn funny. I'm like, this guy's hilarious. And by the way, anybody that's actually I've talked to Rokita a few times. The guy's hilarious. Totally underrated hilarious. I saw him at a just a quick story. He thought I think he thought I was Antifa. I went to this um a Republican thing that they have every month up north, and Rokita was speaking. So I'm sitting there, and I have like my hat. It was this exact hat, actually, a black shirt and jeans. So, and then if you anybody who has been around a bunch of Republicans know they 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 dress okay. You can tell that they're not Antifa, and I'm usually the youngest one in there too. So he gets done speaking, and by the way, Rokita has security with him at all times. His life has been threatened a bunch of times, where now he has security. It's being paid by him, as far as I know. And he like gets done talking. He's just kind of doing a few shakes of the hands, and like I'm sitting at the table, and like he stops at kind of me, and he goes, so what's your story?" I go, "Oh, hey, I'm Steve Whitmer. I'm running for state rep, District 97." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, this guy probably thought I was Antifa or a spy or something because I do look. Listen, I tend to get a little bit brown. I'm wearing all black basically. I had just got there from another meeting on the west side, and then I ended up talking to Janice McHenry because I was asking her about my campaign on some ideas that she might had, and then everything was pretty cool. So Rokita does his speech. It was really nice. Then next was McGuire and Beckwith. They have like their video. Um, I don't think I can't remember if McGuire had a video, like an intro video, but they had people introduce them. Beckwith had his wife, and man, I can't remember who introduced Julie, to be honest with you. But when Micah went onto stage to talk, you only get a few. I think you get like 5 minutes, something like that. He went over, and it got to the point where they're starting to shut his microphone down and shut the screen off. And he's like, "Okay, okay, okay, I'm done, I'm done." He's like, "Vote for me." But he had like easily 30 or 40 people on the stage with him, probably more. So then And it took like 5 to 10 minutes, probably more like 10 or 15 minutes for everybody to get off the stage. So then Julie goes on stage and nobody's there. Nobody's with her. And she's talking kind of soft spoken and she's wearing a black dress but like the background is black. So she's basically like a floating head up there. And I'm all the way in the back. For the delegates, they can see everything. But for me, like in the all back of the bus and shit, like I can't see, I can barely make out what's going on. And the microphone, not the speakers there, they were awful. Just awful. You could not make anything, barely make anything out what was going on. But I got decent hearing for now. So for everybody else, they couldn't, they had a hard time. And then after that, everybody started voting. And that's when we were all kind of talking with each other. I saw a bunch of people that I recognized, and I was talking with them about their campaign. And I wasn't formally introduced to Mike Braun. I was talking to John, and Braun was going to the bathroom, and he Schmitz turns around and he's like, "What's the matter? You didn't get a delegate?" What? It's like, "What's going on, Braun? You didn't get a delegate?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't think I can." Nice guy though. He was laughing about it. I think he's an all right guy. At least talking. I wasn't introduced to him formally, but he seems like a nice guy. I'll probably never be able to talk to him, at least face to face, because I'm just a pleb, and that's how it happens. But continuing on, uh, I was talking to a bunch of people what was going on. So, but it took really long. And that was the one thing that we noticed. And Abdul Hakim Shabazz was there along with all the other liberals doing their media thing. Kayla Dwyer. Man, she's not small in person. I thought she was much skinnier, but she's not. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for that one. I don't care. I'm keeping it in the video. I don't care. And Abdul was updating everybody on what was going on. Like, oh, people weren't getting their stuff verified when they were going in there, so they weren't sure who was able to count the vote. It's like, oh, did you already vote? Because originally there was a barcode, and I guess that barcode it just indicates if you that you voted, and then there's the the regular screen that you'd go to vote. It's just like regular Marion County voting is from what it looked like. From what I could tell, it was just like that. But the problem was we weren't sure if the barcode was actually going to recognize of who you voted for. That was the it was supposed because it's supposed to be a private vote. But anyway, um, I was just like, okay, the fix is in. Julie's was winning this thing. There's no way that Micah is going to win this thing. And we're there, and I'm there with two other people. First time meeting them, very very nice people, and they're like, okay, the votes, we're releasing the vote now, and then we're sitting there, it's like with 900 and something votes, and like the lieutenant governor is only took one round, and it was Micah Beckwith. And we all at each other like, holy shit. I mean, just the energy from that room. Because you have to remember, Micah has built quite a following for the last year. These patriots, these people, these conservatives, they're tired of the same shit. They're tired of Holcomb and his liberal values, which he is more liberal than anything. He is I want development done no matter what. When the trans bill came up for not wanting boys to play in girls sports, he didn't want to sign it. The constitutional carry thing, I was a little bit surprised that he signed it, but he knew that was the right call. And then last time in 2022, he got booed at the convention, which is why he didn't go this year. So that happened, and that's really how this whole thing started. Like I said before, and is one of the things that I keep telling everybody. This is because the governor's office just doesn't give a shit, and the governor's office doesn't really like to work with the legislation, from what I've heard. I mean, anybody that's watching this and they want to disagree with it, that's fine. That's just something that I heard, and a little bit that I've noticed too. Like there should be property tax relief. There should be less big government. IEDC is a huge problem. You know what? NDOT, NDOT needs more oversight because they absolutely suck. I hope I get in there just so I can start so much shit with NDOT and just have like a dedicated oversight team so they aren't shutting down highways and they're doing a better job. At least in Marion County. You know, everybody all the other counties you can figure it out yourself, but Marion County, like you need to get your shit together on that part. So that started happening and the energy in the room was just magic. It was pretty awesome. I actually got like goosebumps off of it, and the very first thing that I thought of was, holy shit, we are so fucked. Not and let me explain. When you have someone so at one extreme, the other opposite extreme are just gonna light their ass on fire. They're gonna get boots on the ground and be like, "Oh my God, we gotta stop this right-wing extremist Christian nationalist, blah blah blah." And that was the very first thing I thought of once his names got announced. Is like Beckwith can't the team, not that we know now, but the Beckwith team cannot let off the gas. They got to be out there getting Braun on the ticket, helping him out, because this is only going to get crazier. And then everybody started leaving because people are pissed off that Micah won. It was pretty because I was all the way in the back where the exit was, and then, they're gonna do some other shit. And I was like, I'm not staying. I think by the time I left, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock, something like that. And I had been there since 7:30. I was hungry. They didn't have any water for anybody. I had to pay $17 for a little Dunkin' Chino mocha thing and a turkey sandwich at the convention center because I was just starving. Yeah, but it was pretty cool, honestly. I hope that I win delegate next time because in 2 years, that's when the Secretary of State, the Auditor, and the Treasurer will have their slating too. So that'll be pretty cool. But the other thing, which I was brought up yesterday, was this GOP sabotage, which I'm going to talk about a little bit because you have to remember that lobbyists play both sides of the field and they are surprisingly very honest about it. And I'm not a big fan of it. I don't It's not that I'm against that even though I don't like it. Where my problem is where you say I am this part of this party and then you're helping on the other side. Because that is a huge, huge conflict of interest to me. Like, either be part of it or don't be part of it. It's that simple. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. To me, it's just disingenuous, dishonest, and disgusting. I don't like it. I'm going to do a separate video on that, just on this whole situation. I'm going to make it private until I get more data and people throw out, and because I know right now the lobbyists are going to be looking into every piece of me right now so they can probably give to Justin Moed if I had to guess. Hey, guess what? If you want me to think something different, then help me out. You know who you are out there. Well, let's make sure that we are very clear on all of this right now. We had a great conversation. Things were straightened up. You were very open and honest on what was going on. But at the same time, I do not trust you. Not at this moment. But I am laying down my sword for right now. I deleted the tweets on any kind of bashing. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I had put a video out and explaining the situation. It ended up being 100% right, but I deleted it. If you didn't download it out there, sucks for you, but I got it. Because if you're supposed to represent the party, but you're helping out the other side, that's very disingenuous. It's very disgusting. And I understand that you're under orders from your boss, but you have to look at it from this side. It seems like you are a spy. Because for everybody out there who don't know, like lobbyists are very much running the show. And these lobbyists, this particular one spends like 100 grand, over 100 grand a year on these candidates. If you don't believe me, let's look this up in real time. Okay, so Bo's Public Affairs, that's just in the 2024 election, have given $120,000. And look, so Greg Taylor, he's a Democrat. Mike Braun, Republican. Bray, GOP. Huston, GOP. They gave. This is the part that you guys need to understand. Okay, these lobbyists don't give a shit. They're just there to get their job done. I'm stressing this right now, so I'm making sure I'm making eye contact with you through the camera. Yeah, through spiritually, sure. They gave this amount of money to the House Republican Senate Majority campaign and Indiana Republican State Committee. They also gave this amount of money to the Democrats. If we even go back, Craig Haggard, Greg Porter, Jeffrey Ratz. I know I saw Moed's name on here. Jake Teshka, $500. No matter how much, Mesmer. Let's go back to 22. I thought it was 23 that I saw. Yeah, Moed got $1,200. Kyle Walker, 2,200. Holcomb, 5,000. Marion County Republican. Yeah, how come I never got any of that? Anyway, so yeah, same thing. Democrat gave money to the Democrats, gave money to the Republicans. People, they are the enemy. The lobbyists are the enemy because they have their own thing. Look, they even gave money to Holly Sullivan. Remember, I am not funded by these people. You will not see a donate button on my website to give me money. Why? Because I think it's a little bit scummy. Everybody else can do it. I know other people that I like that are going to do it. If you're going to give me money, give it to me personally or mail me a check. Everybody has my address. Literally, everybody has my address. These assholes post pictures of my house all the time. They post my address on Twitter all the time. If literally just go and look up my address. It's not hard to find. I would personally like to just talk to you and thank you personally if you're going to give me any money at all. Any amount of your time, any amount of your money. And I think that that speaks volumes compared to some other people that would just take money through their website. And I think the next few weeks are going to be very, very fun because the lobbyists out there that I know that are watching this video right now, I will be contacting you soon. I'm not saying any names right now, but I will be contacting you soon because I want a motherfucking debate, a motherfucking town forum with Justin Moed. That is what I want. And I know you can give it to me. Some of you are close friends with Justin Moed, but are Republicans. Had to do some editing on the live because some of these talking points I will be bringing up later, and I don't want anybody to know exactly where I'm coming from on some of this stuff because I told some information to the people today, and I will know if any of that stuff gets leaked to Justin Moed. We'll see if it comes out the other side. Because I know they're going to be using all this stuff for negative mailers in a few months. And this is my thought on negative mailers. You're going to make a negative mailer, and then you're not going to have a town forum or a debate with someone. That is so much pussy mentality. Like, you're just a straight up coward then. Why would you be in an elected position if you are afraid to have a town forum or a debate to vote you in? A 12-year incumbent. Really? Meet me in the parking lot. We'll have a debate right there. We'll just have everybody watch you lose it. I will make a fool out of you, Justin. Just to let you know. I saw him the other day at Garfield Park. I didn't say anything because there wasn't the place for it. But as soon as the meeting ended, he just took right off. I talked to the Garfield president. Very funny stuff, though. This video is getting long, so I'm just going to quit it here. Public works video tomorrow after I get done with what I'm doing. I had a long day today between the caucus and I'll talk about the caucus though tomorrow. It was really fun. A lot of stuff happened within an hour. It was a lot of fun. I'll talk about that tomorrow. So until next time.